Hello, everybody. Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know what happened. Welcome back to Entrepreneurship. And again, we will do entrepreneurship first and then social media marketing. I received a few emails saying that maybe I was speaking a little fast or I wasn't covering some topics simple enough. If you don't understand something, please send me an email. I'm happy to explain it. If you still don't understand it, I'm happy to meet you for coffee or whatever and explain the concept. So don't be afraid to message me if you have questions or something doesn't make sense. I'm more than happy to do whatever I can to help you explain, help you understand the concepts. Also, don't forget to message your name so that we can take attendance. Okay, let's get started. We will review startup strategies, and then we will talk about business models, okay, which is part of the strategy. All right, so let's review strategies. Let me ask you this, and please message on the live chat. What happens if the startup focuses on the long term too much? Okay, so what happens if a startup focuses on something really far out? Really far out. What do you think? See, we have students from many years on here. Many classes. Any ideas? They will lose profit. The long-term strategies may not work for the short term. Yeah. Remember, when we start a company, we just started. When a company's a startup, we don't know what the future looks like. If we focus too much on the future, we may miss opportunities. Now, future thinking is a good thing for established companies. The exact opposite for startups, okay? So, what happens if the startup focuses on the short term too much? What do you think about that? Yeah, wasting money. Mm-hmm. So if we, I don't think we're going to get many answers. So what happens if we focus too much on the short term is that we might also miss opportunities because we're not thinking strategically. So it's all about striking a balance somewhere in the middle, okay? So is there a business strategy that will guarantee success? No, there's not. So it's all about being flexible. We can't focus too much on the every day-to-day details, everything. But we also can't think about the future too far in advance. We have to fluctuate. We have to be flexible. Yeah. There's no right formula. It's just staying flexible. That's the right formula. Okay? So, I'm going to skip this one. All right. So, do most startups write their mission and values? This is a vision. So do most startups write their vision, missions, and values in a plan before they start their company? I want you to message. What do you think? Do they write those things down? Okay, some are saying yes. Maybe yes. Yeah, Fi Hien says most of them don't. And that's right. Actually, business plans in the beginning are almost a waste of time because the opportunity that led you to thinking of a product idea. Remember, that's just your first product, okay? You don't have a company yet. And so you don't know what the future looks like. So you have to stay flexible. And one of the ways of staying flexible is to not write a formal plan. Now, you can write down these things. You can write down a vision. What does this idea of success in the future look like to me? You can write a mission. How am I going to reach it? Okay? And you can write values. That's fine. You can write them down. That's okay. You don't have to, though. You can keep them in your head because they need to stay flexible. If you write them down, be willing to burn your business plan at a moment's notice if opportunity leads you in a different way. If we focus too much on the long-term thinking, we'll miss those opportunities that exist in the short term. It's like Airbnb. When they started their company, they didn't think about building a website that was going to totally change the way that we stay, we go on vacation. No, they didn't think about it that long. They thought, oh, we need to find rooms for these people who are coming to California for the conference. Okay? We talked about that example a couple of times in this class, so I expect you to understand what I'm talking about. Okay. How can a company use a SWOT analysis? Okay, message me. How can a company use a SWOT analysis? We've got about a 10-second lag, and so I end up having to sit here and look at my phone until I know that you're caught up. Okay, to analyze which can help them expand the business and which needs to be eliminated. Okay, so we're looking at the strengths. What is the company good at? The weaknesses. What is the company bad at and can improve? The opportunities. How can it help push us ahead? Threats. OTSW. SWOT is just easier to say. There's nothing special about the order of the letters. Yeah. To understand what they have, you need to develop their work. Right. So the SWOT is a tool. It's specifically a tool, okay? We can use it for anything that we need to consider a strategy for. So the strengths, what is it internal to our company that's going to help us achieve what we want to achieve? Our weaknesses, what is it in our company that's going to keep us back? What are we bad at? What do we need to improve in order to maybe take advantage of some opportunity? Okay? Opportunities. What is it outside the company that's available to us to help us push forward? And the threats, what's keeping us back outside of the company? What can keep us back? Yep. Okay, next question. When does a startup choose which target market to serve? Okay, I'm interested in what you think. So message me on here. So many great answers. The first day of the business. Okay. Now, remember, most entrepreneurs don't sit down. Now, this changes when we talk about NGOs, but most entrepreneurs don't sit down and think about who are we going to serve. No, they've seen some opportunity in the marketplace and they say, oh, I think I could solve that problem I think I could solve that problem. They don't consider who exactly is it that I could solve it for. They don't dissect it. They see an opportunity. Maybe it's to help themselves. They create a solution to one of their problems, and then they start thinking, okay, how do I reach the people that I want to reach? Okay? So it's rare that an entrepreneur sits down and brainstorms and thinks, this is the kind of people I want to serve. No, it almost happens naturally. And in fact, if they sit down and they think, who exactly do I want to serve, they may miss opportunities. It's all about reacting to opportunities in the market. And an entrepreneur, they begin reacting to the first opportunity. Okay? So it's all about staying flexible. Now, that's not to say that market segmentation is not important. You do need to consider who is your customer. Okay? So we start on day one considering these things. Okay? But it needs to stay flexible. It needs to stay flexible. Okay? We saw this last time. I just want to review it. We talked about it with ComCafe last time. Should ComCafe target the whole world? No, that's a waste of resources. ComCafe can't sell to people in Australia. ComCafe can't sell to people in Korea or India. Okay? So it'd be a waste of resources. So instead, they narrow their market. Okay? So they start targeting tourists. They start targeting adults who live nearby their first cafe. They start targeting university students who go to school near their first cafe. So, yeah. And they start breaking up these groups even further and saying, okay, we're gonna try to sell to these people. Okay? They target them. They send out the product. They measure if those people reacted. They look at the data. Did people buy? Yes. Well, then we will continue to sell to them. Okay? If those people didn't buy, if you set up a stand outside the university, or if you set up marketing, promotional materials outside of the university, and you say, please come to our cafe, and people come, then you know it works. You can measure, oh, the university students are coming. Or you might set up something online and say, use this coupon code to get a discount. And then you can count, oh, this many people use the coupon. So we can actually measure that. We get the data. That helps us decide, is this really what we're doing? Is this working? And then we do it again. So we need to stay flexible. We need to be willing to change who our target market is. Okay? So as soon as we sit there and analyze exactly who our target market is, we may be losing opportunities. Now, later on, yes, it's important to understand exactly who our customers are. But in the very beginning, no, we need to stay flexible. We need to be reactionary. Okay? Okay. So, what does it mean to narrow your market? Okay, so this is the papers that I received. I think almost all of you received a comment. You need to narrow your market. When you're in entrepreneurship, you need to narrow your market. I saw a lot of students listing Vietnam as the geographic, or maybe Hanoi. They would list Hanoi and other big cities, or Southeast Asia was one. Okay, so we can't go big. Remember, even a fully developed company wouldn't target the whole world. Okay, Facebook doesn't target the whole world. They target communities that exist in the world. But they target these communities because their needs are a little different. So the people living here, their needs are a little different than people living here and people living here, people living here. Their needs are different. Okay, so do we target the world? No. Do we target just Asia? No. Do we target Southeast Asia? No, we have to keep going. Do we target only Vietnam? No, we need to keep going. As an entrepreneur, you need to keep going. Do we target large cities in Vietnam? No, not narrow enough. Do we target just Hanoi? Not narrow enough. Do we target certain what am I trying to say? Certain areas of Hanoi only? No, we need to keep going. Do we target one of the districts? No, we need to keep going. Do we target one of the wards? No. We need to keep going. We can eventually get to the point where we're targeting students at VNU, for example. That's how narrow you need to go initially. Now, you can't grow eventually you're going to tap out this market very quickly. But if you narrow your focus on a very, very specific market segment and learn about them, and the reason why we get so narrow is when you start when you're an entrepreneur, you don't have a lot of money typically. You can't go broad. You have to go very narrow. And in fact, you have to go so narrow that you can ask those people, those people who might buy your product. You can actually reach them and gather data from them, okay? So, for example, if you had an idea, if you as a student, you have an idea that you think is a good one, and you think you could eventually make money doing it, you can target students who are like you. That would be an excellent initial market to target. Yeah, because you can talk to them, you can gather data from them, you can learn about their wants, you can learn about their needs. In fact, you are one of those students. So what a great way of understanding that market's needs is to be part of that market. And you can grow from here. But as an entrepreneur, you need to start extremely small, okay? And that's just geographic. Also consider demographics. Narrow means extremely narrow to a very small community so that you can create a product for them and initially start getting some sales. Once you tap out that market, and it would be fast that you would tap out the student market at VNU, and let's even say the SNHU program, okay? You could tap out that market very quickly. But while tapping that out, while selling to that small community, you would be able to refine your product, okay? Again, when you're an entrepreneur and you release your first product, that product's not the best product yet because you haven't had time to understand how the people who are going to buy it are going to use it. You don't know what colors they like yet. You don't know what features they might want added. Okay? So it's best to release that product into a very, very small market, one that you can actually contact, that you can reach and study. And then once you tap out that market, you grow it a little bigger and grow a little bigger. Yeah. So it's important to narrow extremely small. Let's see any questions. Okay, very, very good. And as well, we have geographic, demographic, psychographic, and this says behavioral. Yeah, biobehavior. Yeah. So we can get narrow on all four of these categories. We can get extremely narrow, very narrow, because we can always grow. But it's important if we start too broad, if we even try to sell to all of Hanoi, we are going to get so frustrated. We're not going to be able to gather data. It's going to be very difficult. Start small. Collect data on what people say about your initial product. Collect data about what needs or wants you didn't think about that they have, and your product could somehow solve that problem. Okay, good. You've seen this before. This is the categories. We have geographic, demographic, psychographic, and behavioral, and these are all examples of B2C segmenting. Now notice, this is B2C segmenting. It's a little bit different than B2B segmenting. B2C, business to consumer, not customer. Customer is anybody who buys. Business to consumer. These are the ways that we can segment a market. I'm not going to go into too much more detail because we've already talked about this. This is a review. Okay, and B2B, notice we use geographic, demographic, and behavioral, but we take out the psychographics. Because again, psychographics are the way people think. We have personality, we have the values, lifestyle. That doesn't apply to businesses. So geographic, demographic, and behavioral. Good. I think we're still good. All right. Okay, so let's move on. We're going to finish this up. All right. Do entrepreneurs use smart goals? What do you think? This is the last piece of the review. Message me on here. Totally yes. Okay, yes. Yes, entrepreneurs use SMART goals, okay? These goals are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. Again, I'm going over this fast because we talked about it last time. But yeah, sure, they use SMART goals. SMART goals are the best way, as far as I'm concerned, the best way to set goals. You have something measurable. You can say you met it. You have something time-based. You can say when you hope to meet it. Okay, but these are a little bit different. These are a little bit different for entrepreneurs. So most SMART goals are awful. Most SMART goals are awful for startup companies. Okay, so let's see here. Let me ask you this. Why do you think most SMART goals are terrible for startups? Why are SMART goals awful, most SMART goals awful for startup companies? Why do you think that? Sometimes they can do it on time. I haven't seen an answer yet. Because it's not specific enough. Startups barely have a clear look of their business. Now we're going. It's hard for all early work to go in the right direction. I'm having trouble reading. Yeah, again, entrepreneurs don't know what the future is. It would be amazing if they could tell the future, but we can't. We can't do that. So we have to think shorter term, okay? So to release the product into the market in 6 months, okay? To make 15 million dong in sales before 2021. So most SMART goals are not flexible, okay? They're not based, most SMART goals are not based on available information, meaning, what do I mean by that? Basically, SMART goals for a company, they are so far forward thinking. And they're also based on information that the company already has. They can look at what happened in the past. They can look at last year's numbers. Entrepreneurs can't do that, okay? And it ends up being demotivating for the employees of the startup if we set some goal and we can't reach it. The employees think, oh, we didn't meet any of our goals, okay? So SMART goals are not good for startup companies. So what's the alternative? We still use SMART goals, but we make them project-based and we make them shorter term, okay? So here's some examples. You might have to have 500 followers on social media by the end of the quarter, okay? That would be a very short term. That would be easier to reach, perhaps. That would, you could push yourself to get that, okay? To sell all inventory by the end of April 2020, okay? Now, assuming, and we're going to talk about this when we talk about product, but you don't keep a lot of inventory as an entrepreneur. You're looking for ways to cut costs as much as you possibly can. So to sell all inventory by the end of April 2020, yeah, that would be a possible SMART goal that you could reach, and it would be based, it would help you, because it's shorter term. Okay, to gather product use data from 100 customers by the end of April 2020. Okay, again, that would be something that is shorter based, it's project based, it would help you move forward. Short term. Yeah, again, it's all about trying something. So we have an idea. We build that product, we release the product, we measure how did it go? What did people think about it? We collect that data, we learn from the data, that gives us more ideas about how to improve our product. We build those changes into our product, we release the product, and around and around we go. Again, this can be based on the product. It can also change the way that the customer group that we're focusing on, any kind of improvement to our product. Remember, we start our company with our product. that will build, that's the foundation of eventually building a company. Okay. Okay, so when we start a company, this isn't anything new. I'm not starting to repeat myself. Your business is new. It can change day by day. You need to stay flexible. Okay, so when we set up a strategy, we need something that can bend. Okay, something that can react to opportunities we see. We don't know the future yet. Okay, so how do we lay out an organization and stay flexible at the same time? And that's what we're going to talk about today in business models. Okay. So, what is a business model? Is this a business model? No. No, a business model is a strategic tool to help us understand what the future may look like. Again, these tools are available to us because we don't know what the future looks like, but we're trying to shape. We release a product, we're trying to shape what this business might look like because we want to react to opportunities. We also want to be able to scale. Yeah. So when we're considering how our business will run, we need to consider what value do we offer? What customers do we serve? How do we serve those customers? How do we get our product to those customers? How do we deliver a product to our customers? What are the inputs? Okay, what is it that we need to be able to run our company? Do we need, if we're designing software, do we need coders? Do we need software? The coding software? Do we need computers? If we're opening a restaurant, we need ingredients. We need waiters. We need cashiers. We need cooking equipment. All of these things, right? What are the inputs we need to be able to operate? What are the key processes? What are we going to do at our company? Okay, if we're opening a restaurant, we're going to be cooking the food. We're going to be doing customer service. Okay, so what are the key processes that are going to be happening? Okay, what organizations are we going to have to work with? Who are our suppliers? Who do we need to partner with? Are we going to, if we are opening a financing organization, we're going to have to partner with the government on some level. Okay, so who are we going to have to partner with? Okay, and what are our costs? And how are we going to make money? All of these things need to be considered. So this is a lot to think about. So these are things that are constantly going around entrepreneurs' minds. As they're releasing their first product, as they're gathering data, they're also thinking about all of these things. What are our costs? How are we making money? What are our inputs? Things like that. So there's got to be a way to organize this, and there certainly is. Okay? It was designed by Alexander Osterwalder. Okay? It's called the Business Model Ontology, or the Business Model Canvas. Okay? Whereas in the past, we used to write plans that were 40 or more pages long, trying to answer all these questions, trying to figure out what our future might look like. This tool was designed to erase that time wasted and to be more flexible. Okay? So it looks like this. This is the Business Model Canvas. While I'm introducing this, please download this paper. You're going to follow along with me on an activity. Okay? It's in the shared drive under Entrepreneurship. You can download the document version of it. There's 2 pages in the document version of it. This one that I have is a single page. You can also find that one in there as well. This is the PDF. But you have a doc so that you can write in it. So download the document version of it so that you can follow along. Okay? It looks something like this. It looks similar to this. I'll give you a moment to Download it. Oh, yeah, it looks like this. Okay. I see some people messaging, got it, got it. Okay. All right, let me explain each piece. Okay, so we have customer segments. Okay, so this is what customers are we serving? Okay, again, most entrepreneurs, they can use this tool, and what they would do is print a copy of it and write on it handwritten. Something that could take them 10 minutes to fill this out. Okay, we're going to take a little longer than that because I'm going to explain each piece of it and how they fit together. So we have customer segments. Okay, so this is who's going to buy from us. Okay, who are we going to? What kind of customer do we think we can approach? Now again, day one, on the first day, we're thinking about who might we sell to. Okay, we're not writing it down, and we're not trying to analyze it too deeply, but we are thinking about who is it that can benefit from our product. Okay. Then value proposition. What value are we offering? What problem are we solving? Okay. Channels are how are we delivering this value to our customers? Okay. So the value proposition, this is the product. So we have our customers, we have the product, and how are we getting our product to our customers? Are we doing it online? Are we doing it, are we selling through a shop? Are we selling door to door? Okay. What is the channel? What is the channel of sales? Okay. How are we selling to our customers? As well, how are we marketing to our customers? How are we trying to convince them that they need our product? How are we trying to educate them about our product? Okay. So any way that we are bringing our value to our customers is through a channel. Okay. Then we have customer relationship. This is how are we keeping our customers happy? How are we, if our customers have a question, how can they contact us? Okay. It's all about this. This is, you could call this maybe customer service, the customer service square. How are we keeping our customers happy? Okay. All right. Key activities. What are we doing at our company to create this value? Okay. So for example, if we are designing software, the coding is a key activity. That's not the product. The coding is not the product. The product is the software that we design. But the key activity is the coding, maybe the designing the layout, customer service. These would be key activities. Okay? Key resources. What are the inputs we need? If we have a restaurant, if we're designing a business model for a restaurant, the key resources would be the ingredients. They would be the plates, the uniforms for our employees, things like that. Okay? So our key resources are what we need to be able to do our key activities. And our key activities are what create our product, or what we are offering of value. And our product is being delivered through a channel to our customer segments, and our customers are being taken care of. They have their questions answered. They can get updates about our product, things like that. Okay? Then we have key partners. Who are we going to have to partner with? What suppliers are we going to have to work with? Are we going to need to work with the government? Are we going to need to work with a university? Are we going to need to work with some other company? Okay, who are we going to have to work with? Okay, then we have our cost structure. Okay, so what are our costs? What are our fixed costs? What are our Variable costs, what are our initial costs? What are our reoccurring costs? Initial costs are the costs that we pay when we first do something. Remember, as an entrepreneur, there's a lot of firsts. So when you design your first product, there are costs sometimes that are associated with that, and so that would be an initial cost. Yeah, so that would be under cost. But reoccurring would be once you design your product and you've tested it, perhaps you release it to the public. When you reorder, any costs associated with reordering, or if you need to pay for electricity, things like that, that would be reoccurring costs. Okay, and then we have revenue streams. How are we making money? Okay, if money is coming into us, are we making money through memberships? Are we making money through selling our product? Are we making money through, early on for an entrepreneur, this one is pretty much exclusively for making money selling products. But eventually you might be able to have, if you're partnered with an organization that puts their name on your product as well, you can make money that way. There's other ways to make money that we talk about in a later lesson. Okay, so let's walk through, we're going to do like 4 examples, even more than that, 5 or 6 examples, okay? Because this is a very useful tool. All right, so let's start with Grameen Bank, okay? This is a microfinance organization based in Bangladesh. So they give microloans, very small loans, to people who are struggling. And these people agree to use these loans to help. They use these loans as a way to grow something that can lead to more money. So to start small businesses, to invest in education, things like that. So these microloans are used to grow things that can lead to more money, and then they pay them back. Okay. Okay. When we have group-based credit approach, this means that the money that comes back from paid loans goes back out, and any interest that is earned from those loans, that goes back out to finance other impoverished people. So the customer segments, poor entrepreneurs. Okay, so people who have a business idea but they don't have any money. Okay, value proposition, microloans. That's the product that they can offer. Okay, and they bring that to poor entrepreneurs through their branches, through their physical locations. Grameen Bank has small banks scattered all throughout Bangladesh. Okay, and so poor entrepreneurs, they can go to a branch and get a microloan. So they deliver that value to their customers this way. Customer relations, anytime an entrepreneur has a question or needs assistance, they can directly go to the branches and talk to them personally. Okay. All right. How are they making money? They're making money through interest rates. Okay. Grameen Bank does make some money, and so they're making that through interests earned on the microloans. Okay. So when the poor entrepreneurs, when they pay back their microloans, they also pay a small amount of interest. Okay. And then that interest goes back to putting out more loans. Okay. They're partnered with the government. Okay. Key activities, risk management, lending and collecting the money. Okay. So these are what the company does. Okay. In order to offer microloans, this is what they need to do. The key resources are their physical locations. That is key. A place where someone is sitting that can answer questions, that can give out money. Okay. Their brand is a key input. People recognize. I said it wrong in the first. Did I write that wrong in the first one? Grameen Bank. That's my bad. So their brand, their trust, capital, and any of the money that they started with, that was a key resource to be able to release these microloans. So these are key inputs to release the microloans. These are key activities to release the microloans. Okay, and then costs, the people, their staff, any capital costs associated with taking care of the money. Oops. Yeah. So you can see we can organize a whole company based on just a few boxes. We can answer all of those questions that I started this lecture with in just a few boxes on one piece of paper. This helps us lay out our whole company. You don't need to write any of these things on your paper yet. You're going to do an example here in a moment. So yeah, don't worry about writing each one of these. Okay, so let's do an example. Okay, so let's rewind back to 2014. This is real. Okay, I was in Ho Chi Minh City, and I saw a new cafe, and I was thinking, wow, that's a nice cafe. And I went there. I went to the first coffee house. Okay? And I liked it. So I'm wondering, how many of you like the coffee house? I think a lot of you do, because almost every year students like to use this as an example in the entrepreneurship class. Yeah. So you're going to follow along on your business model canvas with the coffee house. Okay? So it started in 2014. They started with aspirations. They really hoped to grow across Vietnam. So they started the company. They started their first cafe with intention to grow larger. Okay? That was their vision, to grow all across Vietnam. Okay? And what is their value? What is their you could call it their value proposition? Focusing on quality at a low price, quality products, quality drinks at a low price. Some people say, I've never been there. Okay. So let's start by looking at the customer segmentation piece of this. Okay. So this piece, where is it? Yeah, right here. So this piece looks at who are your customers. Okay? So you need to think about what kind of people or companies. Remember, this can be used for B2B companies as well. So who is it that we're going to serve? Okay? You need to segment your market as far as you can, as deep as you can, using geographics, demographics, psychographics, and buyer behavior. These are ways that you can describe the type of customers that you're gonna target. Okay? So how do we use this square? We use it and we prioritize our segments based on where we think our biggest opportunity is. Now again, most entrepreneurs are going to be handwriting this. They're going to jot down a few ideas. They can fill this whole sheet out in a matter of minutes, just brainstorming. What kind of customers are we going to serve? So I'm going to use Facebook, and you're going to use the coffee house. Okay? So again, your example, you're going to follow along using the coffee house. I'm going to use Facebook so that there's a different company. You get two ideas. Okay, so Facebook, we all know this company. Okay, so who are their customer segments? Internet users. Okay, advertisers and marketers. So their internet users are their top priority. This is who they think they can reach the best. Okay, now certainly this is not detailed, and I want to see your sheet much more detailed. Okay, I want you to narrow your market. I just chose very high level because there's not a lot of space on here. I want this to be readable. If I try to fit too much detail, it's going to be difficult to read. So internet users are their top priority. Okay, advertisers and marketers are also very high. Okay, but a little less than internet users And developers, any companies that want to use Facebook as a login. You know that sometimes you might sign up for something on a website, and you can log into that account using your Facebook. That's what it means by developers. So now I want you to think about who are your segments, okay? So on your sheet, I want you to write, or I guess type, who are your segments? Who are your segments? Yes, you do coffee house. How does the coffee house fit this? All of you will do the coffee house. So on your sheet, I want you to type who your segments are. Okay? I want you to go in more detail than I did. I just chose high level because it's difficult to see everything once all the details on there. It'd be hard for you to follow along. In this one, you don't need to worry about writing in paragraphs. You can write in bullet points if you want. But include details. So for example, for Facebook, if we're looking at advertisers and marketers, you might, some of the details might be, the advertisers and marketers are probably B2C companies, okay? They're probably companies that focus on younger people. So list your overall customer segments, but then include a few details about them. What kind of company are they? You don't need to go, on this paper, you don't need to go, well, I want you to use as much detail as you think is appropriate. Yeah, so 3 or 4 or 5 bullet points under each segment is probably good. Okay, let's move on. Okay, next we're going to look at value proposition. What are the products you're going to offer? Okay, as an entrepreneur, at the very beginning, you'll probably only have one product. Okay? You actually most certainly will have only one product in the beginning. Okay, as you grow, you can add more products to the value proposition. So, what is it that makes you special? What is it about your product that makes you special? Okay, so is your product a novel one? Is it new? Is it something people have never seen before? Does it? What about its performance? Is it strong somehow? Is it faster than a competing product? Okay. Is your product customizable? Can you change your product? Okay. Let me use the coffee house for some of these examples. So for example, the coffee house might release some new product. Maybe their first product was a new kind of drink. So that would be, what's special about their product. I don't think they release anything too different. So newness would for the coffee house not be one of their items. Do you understand? Okay, what is it about their, customization could be one. So maybe if the coffee house allowed you to change the way that your, I guess you could add milk to it at different levels. So I guess it could be a customized product, okay? I guess basically I'm just saying, what makes your product a special product? What is it that makes your product different than the competition? Again, entrepreneurs are starting their company based on some innovation on a product. It doesn't have to be a new product. It could be a new way of making that product. So if your product is not a new product, but it's made in a new way, then that would be the value proposition. It would be created. For example, if you used recycled materials to make your product, then the fact that that you're using recycled materials for your product, that would be one of the things you highlight in your value proposition. So you're listing, what is the product? Here, let's do here. What is the product and what makes it special? So for example, with Facebook, our product, what makes it special is it connects you with your friends. You can discover and learn and express yourself. These are things that make our product special. Okay? For advertisers and marketers, okay, we offer them reach, we offer them relevance, social context, engagement, a way to engage with customers. That's what we offer advertisers and marketers. With developers, we offer them an opportunity to personalize, accept payments, do different things through Facebook. So what you're going to list is for the coffee house. Now, I want you to think back. They've probably added a lot of products to their menu. So think back just basics. What are some of the basic drinks that the coffee house might offer, and what makes their drinks special? Yeah, I mentioned good quality coffee at a low price. That would certainly be included here. Okay? Are there any other drinks that you think that they might have had at their first cafe? And what made them special? Okay? One of the things, I will add one thing. One of the things they used to do, they've changed now, which is too bad, but they used to, if you got an iced coffee drink, the ice was actually coffee. And so it didn't water down the flavor of the coffee when the ice melted. So that was something that they did that they could include on their value proposition. What is the value? What is it that the special thing that you're offering your customers? Okay. Okay, next one we're looking at are the channels. How are we delivering our value to our customers? Okay, so our channels look at how are we communicating about our product? Okay, so remember back to marketing. The idea of a product is not just the tangible good or the service that we receive. No, it's also the if we go to the coffee house, for example, it's the music that we hear. It's the advertising that we saw before we went to the coffee house. Okay, so the channels are how are we delivering that value. So that's why it includes how are we communicating the value. What advertising are we using to communicate to our customer that this is something that they might want in their life. This is something that might solve a problem for them. So how are we communicating our value? How are we selling a product? How are we delivering our product? So for example, if our product is furniture, how are we selling our product? First off, so if we have a store, or if it's like a brick and mortar store, or if it's online, okay, that would be how are we selling our product? But then how are we delivering our product? Do we have a truck that delivers it to their house? Or do they need to come to our facility to pick up their furniture? So that's why these are separated. Okay, how are we delivering our product? This would also be if you design software. Okay, you might buy it one place and then it might get emailed to you, or you might download it directly from the website. So those are different ways of delivering the product. Okay. And any post-purchase activities. So again, channels are how are we delivering all of the product, not just the coffee, for example, not just the coffee, but also how are we delivering the experience. Okay, So some of the things that might help you think about what you can put in this square are: how do we make customers aware of our products? How do we help our customers evaluate how they like our products? Okay. How do they purchase our products? How do those products get delivered to our customers? Okay. So one of the ways that you can use this square is to think about the whole journey of the customer. So from the point where they learn about our products to after they consume the product. Okay. How do we deliver our value throughout that process? So for Facebook, the way that we're delivering this value to internet users is we're doing it through our website and mobile apps. Okay? The way that we're delivering this value to advertisers and marketers is through Facebook ads and Facebook pages. The way that we're delivering our value here to developers is using developer tools. Okay. So, for the coffee house, you wrote the value. What is it that customers get from the coffee house? What is it that we offer? What is it that the coffee house offers? Who are our customers? And now, how are we getting our product to them? How are we advertising? Okay. Any way that we're communicating or giving our value to our customer segments, that's outlined in the channels. So, for example, the channels would include the coffee shops. The channels would include, maybe they have an online community on Facebook, perhaps. Okay. The channels would include, maybe they offer delivery. Okay. These are the channels that you would add. So anything like that, consider those. For the channels, you don't need to write in a lot of detail. Just for the customer segments, the value proposition, you can write as many things about the coffee house that is special as you can. But that might only be maybe 3 or 4 things. Okay. The channels, you can go high level. Name like the coffee shops, any delivery, any communities that fans of the coffee shop, of the coffee house might belong to. Okay. Next, we're going to come up here. Okay, come up here, and we're going to look at how do we keep our customers happy? What is it? What are we offering our customers as far as customer service? Okay. So we're looking at how does the customer interact with us? Okay. This also has us look at do we have salespeople to answer questions? Personal assistants. What kind of interaction personally do we have? So at the coffee house, you could talk about the waiters. There's not really waiters. The people, the servers who bring you your drink. Are they friendly? What is it about them that makes them special? Okay. Dedicated personal assistants. Maybe it wouldn't really work for the coffee house, but you might have a company that offers one person dedicated to each account, for example. Okay, so this would be one employee for one customer. Okay, self-service. Okay, if you are a company that sells software, maybe you make a website to help answer any questions, and so the website would be what you would write in the customer relationship section. And that would be self-service. That's an example of self-service. Okay. Automated service might, somebody might call a phone number, and they might, press 1 if this is your question, press 2 if this is your question. Okay. Okay, communities. Maybe there's a Facebook community that allows you to go on and ask questions. Maybe there's a Reddit community. Maybe there's for example, if you might live in a gated community of a housing community, and there might be a meeting that you go to talk about problems or ways to improve the community in which you live. That would be an example of a community that you might go to, so that you can voice problems, or you might be able to talk about how to improve the product or the experience. Okay, so let's look at Facebook's. Okay, so Facebook, what they have is you could call this a community. Okay, so if you have questions about how to do something on Facebook, there's a lot of communities. There's a lot of websites out there. People designing blogs or writing blogs so that you can support if you have any questions about how to do something on Facebook. They also have this one is a little. So basically, here let's go back to this one. So the customer relations piece is basically how are you taking care of your customers? So are you having somebody answering questions? Are you having So with the coffee house, you might consider who is it that is available to interact with the customer at the place. So I will let you, this one is a little bit complicated. So you can simplify it by saying there's staff available, there's a phone number available, there's a website. These are things that help support the customers if they have questions or need assistance. Okay. Give you a moment to fill that one out. Ask any questions if you have it. Okay, I think no questions so far, so let's move on. Okay, so now we're going to talk about how the company is making money. Okay, we're going to complete this side of the business model canvas. Okay, so how are we going to make money? That is the point of this square down here. Okay, so at sale of assets, basically, how are you going to make money? So it might be a subscription fee, licensing. For an entrepreneur, initially it's probably just going to be sale of the product that you're creating. Okay. So let's actually go to Facebook. Okay, so revenue streams. You don't need to list that it's free, but they did anyway. So it's free for customers. There's no fee. But for advertisers and marketers, they make the way that Facebook makes money is they make a revenue from advertisements. Okay, and for developers, they also some of the developers pay for the features of using Facebook, and so they payment revenue. So for the coffee house, you're going to list how do they make money down here. Okay. Again, for most companies, it's going to be sale of product. Okay, I'll give you a minute to work on that. Value dependent. For this, let's simplify it a little bit just because of time. I mean, honestly, this tool is just used to lay out the idea. So let's not get into the deep details. Let's just really, the whole purpose of using this business model canvas is that it's a simple way to lay out a very complex idea, which is, how is my company going to run? Or how are we running now? Could also be that as well. So it's better just to list the revenue, and we can go into details over email. That's fine. I can answer those kinds of questions over email. But it's not really important to this lesson. Okay, so we've talked about who our customers are. We've talked about the value that we offer them, how we deliver that value, how we keep our customers happy if they have questions, if they need assistance. How do we do that? And then how are we making money? Okay, let's go to the other side now and look at key activities. So what are the activities that we're doing at our company, okay, that allow us to create value, to make our product? So some typical activities might be research and development. We might be producing our product somehow. If we are making software, it's the coding. If we are running a restaurant, it is making food, making drinks. If we are a school, for example, like an English school, maybe you open your own English school. It would be the teaching. That would be a key activity. If you open an English school, it would be the teaching. As well, it would be marketing. So trying to attract students. It would also be enrolling into classes, things like that. Cleaning the classroom so that they are ready to be used. That would also be a key activity that would be, if you left that out, then your company would fall apart. So what are the key activities? Typically, you'll list maybe 2 or 3 or 4 of the top key activities that your company does. Okay. So again, marketing could be part of this. Sales could be part of this. Maybe if your company, if it's really important that you handle problems well. Okay. Again, you're just picking 3 or 4 of the absolute key activities that your company does. So with Facebook, you could say platform development, so coding, improving it, okay? And a data center, being able to manage all of the people coming in, posting their pictures of and their videos and live streaming, things like that. So those are the key activities that Facebook offers, or performs, I should say. So what is it that the coffee house does? What do you do? Okay. I sort of already gave you an idea of one of the key activities when I said the restaurant example. Remember, if we open a restaurant, it's cooking food and making drinks. So, with the coffee house, making drinks is a key activity. If we don't make drinks, we can't offer our product to our customers. Okay? So, making drinks, okay? Having somebody taking orders. Okay? So you walk into the coffee house, you have to order what drink it is. That's a key activity. Taking a customer's order, making sure that it goes to the right customer. Yeah. So making drinks, taking orders. What else? I want you to name maybe 1 or 2 more. I want to see 3 or 4 items on there. Serving customers? Sure, absolutely. Yeah, bringing the drink to them. Clearing the tables. Okay, these are all examples of key activities that are performed. The idea isn't to list every single activity. Identify the 3 or 4 that are key to your business. Again, the concept of this business model canvas is to take what we used to outline in 40 or more pages of a business plan of how a company runs and simplify it into one page that has minimal words on it even. And is easy to understand for everybody. Yeah. This is sort of like designing a map for your company. And you can start using this tool on the first day. While you're trying to put together your idea, you can map it out and say, okay, what do we need? What does our company look like right now? Okay. You can also use it as a planning tool. What are we going to need to do in the future? Okay. What partners are we going to need to partner with? What suppliers are we going to need to find? What inputs do we need? What activities do we need to maybe hire someone to do? Okay. What channels do we need to set up? These are all things, examples. Okay, now we're looking at key resources. Okay, so key resources are what are the inputs into our business that help us, that allow us to offer value to our customers. Okay. So this might include physical resources. So maybe for the coffee house, you would have the actual coffee shop. Okay. What else do you need that would be physical? I mean, certainly the coffee, the chairs, the tables, things like that. Those would all be physical resources. Intellectual resources. Okay. This means not tangible but intangible. Okay. They have a strong brand. What is it? The intellectual properties that are key to being able to offer your value to customers. Okay. Then human resources. Who are you going to need to hire? Okay. Financial resources. What money are you going to need? Okay. All right. So Facebook, they've got their platform. That's a key input to being able to offer this value. Technology infrastructure, that's a key input to being able to offer this value. Now that's just 2. They also have their brand. That would be certainly something that is very, very, very important to be able to offer this. Okay, their website address. Okay, the equipment that they use to host the website is very important. Their staff is very, very important. Okay, they only listed 2. I should say, only listed 2 here, but you could certainly list a lot of categories of items. So I want you to list maybe 3 or 4 under key resources for the coffee house. A lot of hearts. Tang Tang, no break. No break during the lectures. We're doing an hour and a half and then we'll finish. So we've got just a little more time. In fact, we've only got 2 more blocks to go through. It'll be fast. Okay, now we're going on to key partners. Okay, now these are the people or the organizations, could be individuals, that we need to partner with in order to make our company work. Okay, so who are our suppliers? Okay, so I'm here. Let's look at this. You know what, to simplify things, and because of time, I'm just gonna, well, we can look at the 4 types of partnerships. Okay, you might consider strategic alliances with another company. So for example, if you start a company, let's say the coffee house starts their first coffee shop, and they want to sell a certain brand's coffee. Maybe that's something special that they do. They're going to have to create a strategic alliance with a coffee shop, a coffee producer, and so that would be, they might say, we're going to sell only your coffee, and if you agree to only sell to our coffee shop in Hanoi, for example. So that would be an example of a strategic alliance. You know what? Just for simplicity and for time's sake, let's move on. And we can look at, for Facebook, their key partners are content. They have content partners, okay? So they might work with TV shows to include Facebook use. Key partners could also be the internet companies, okay? That they need to work with the internet companies. They need to work with companies to handle payments through them, things like that. So with the coffee house, who are they going to have to work with? Who are their suppliers? Who do they need to work with? So they're suppliers for their ingredients, the food ingredients, suppliers for things like tables and chairs. Certainly also consider maybe they have suppliers for music, things like that. Okay, their app as well. Somebody mentions their app. Their app, a key partner might be the company that designs and manages their app. Mm-hmm. Now, if that's something that they do internally, then that would be a key resource. Yeah, but if it's another company that they work with to design or update or manage their app, that would be a key partner. I know we've got 5 minutes. Okay. Yes. Yeah, this would be a B2B. So these would be B2B partners. Yeah. So if we are a financial institution, or if we're offering some sort of financial product, then we would have to partner with perhaps a bank. We might need to partner with the government. Okay, so any organization that allows us, that we need to work with, any organization that we need to work with to be able to offer our value, that would be. Okay, final one. Let's look at cost structures. Okay, our costs are they can be fixed cost, variable cost. I'm not going to go, because of time, I'm not going to go too deep into economies of scale and economies of scope. Okay, but you essentially consider what are our costs. Okay, so we look at the cost might be from the data center for Facebook, general administration, so people taking calls, the people who work at the Facebook office who might be receptionists, they might be cleaning staff. Okay, marketing and sales would be a cost, research and development would be a cost. So what are the costs, the cost categories that the coffee house has? Okay, I'll give you a moment. You can think maybe 3 or 4 items. Can we talk more about the 4 types? So I'm going to skip talking about economies of scale and economies of scope. I can talk about fixed costs and variable costs. Fixed cost means that it doesn't change. The amount that you put out, it doesn't change. So for example, a fixed cost that The coffee house might have is maybe if they pay for the music they play, no matter how many customers come into their coffee shops, they're going to have to pay the same amount for the music. But a variable cost would be something like the coffee or the cups, things like that. So the more customers that come in, 1 month, if they have more customers come in, that'll be a higher cost than another month where fewer customers come in. But again, also consider initial costs that you might need to pay the first time, and costs that are continual, that are reoccurring. You're going to look at the costs of setting up a startup in a later lesson. So just list a couple of the key costs that the coffee house has. Okay, all right. So that together is the business model. Okay, let's look at one more example, B2C, and then we'll look at B2B. We have Pokemon Go. Okay, so we have their customer segments are players. There's kids, families, hipsters. Okay, certainly, if we were doing this really, we would maybe describe these groups a little bit more. Okay, what is their value proposition? You can communicate with other players. It mixes real world and fantasy, and it allows us to walk and play, giving us exercise, things like that. How do we deliver it? Through an app and PokemonGo.com. Okay. How are we taking care of our customers? We're reducing social pressure. We can make life a game. I think it's more about customer service. This one's kind of hard for Pokemon Go. Collectors creating communities. Yeah, to answer. Yep. Key activities are things like maintaining the IT of it all, developing it. Okay. Key resources as the IT infrastructure. Okay. So these are what are coming into the company to allow it to offer its value. And then key partners, they're partnered with Nintendo to be able to use the name Pokemon. Okay, their costs are IT and development, and the revenue stream, their revenue comes from in-game purchases and Pokemon Go Plus, whatever that means. Yes, if somebody wants to draw on theirs, it's okay. Okay. Because of time, I won't go into too much detail, but this would be, for example, with BIDV. So this would be a B2B. So you would look at, it would change a little bit. This is a good example of the relationship. So personal assistance, automation, wherever they possibly can. So that would be a good example of how they're managing their customer service. This one was a little bit more strange. Yeah, so this one would be more what I'm hoping that you can put in yours. Okay, I've also included one for the coffee house so that you can check your answers compared to what you put. So I won't put too much time. This is in the slide that I shared with you on the in the Google Drive. Okay, last one. We're going to go kind of fast. Group assignments. Oh, this should say individual assignments. Sorry, not group assignments. So individual assignment. You've got your entrepreneur interview. That is due lesson 10. Okay, so you still have some weeks to do that, but don't wait too long because entrepreneurs are busy, so they might not have time later to do it. And then reflection paper. We'll talk about that when it gets closer to time. Okay. Entrepreneur interview, we've already talked about this. You've got it in your slides, so I'm not going to go over it too much. And it's short, right? A 2 to 4 page document. So it's not long, it's short. And also, I've given you a list of questions that you can use to help you in your interview. Okay, group assignments. The business strategy and model is due lesson 7. So that means next time, okay? So that means that you are going to outline your business strategy and business model. This, mine is mangled here. This is your business model. This is your business model. Okay. So you're going to name your business. You're going to describe your business. You're going to write the vision and values for your business. You don't need to write a mission. I'm going to leave that out. You need to do a SWOT analysis. Now, the SWOT analysis is of you and your group. Okay? So remember, let me step back a little bit. I forgot to include this. When you sit with your group and you decide your startup idea, you're going to choose one of the ideas that your group already came up with. So each member of your group did the defining problems and solutions assignment that I wrote you comments on over email to. You're going to choose one of those ideas from within your group. I don't want you to choose a new idea. I want you to choose one of the ideas you already thought of. Okay? Then you design your business strategy for that. You're going to name your business, describe your business. What is it that you're going to offer? Okay? What problem do you solve? Okay? This is easy because you've already kind of done it. You've done a little bit of the consideration of the problem and the solution in the individual assignment. But now it's a group assignment. This one's a group assignment. You'll write your vision and values. Don't write the mission. You'll do a SWOT analysis of your student team, of your group team, as if you're going to start that company. Okay? So when you consider your strengths, what are your strengths of your team, of the group that you're going to start the company with? Okay? What are the weaknesses of your team? Okay? What are the opportunities and threats outside of your team that can allow you to start this company? Okay? What need or want do you have that you're satisfying? Okay, so be sure that you're, okay, sorry, I missed it. Describe your first target market, okay? I want you to narrow, very, very narrow, go as deep as you can so that you understand, so that you can identify who you're going to serve in the very beginning, okay? Again, this is something that typically entrepreneurs will have in their mind. They don't really write it down, but I want you to write it down for this class, just so that I can understand who you're targeting, okay? Then you're going to outline your business model, which is this. And in your business model, you don't need to double space it. It's going to be a mess if you try to double space it. So don't double space it in your business model, but double space the rest of the document. Mm-hmm. Double space or 1.5 spacing is also fine for me. Yeah. That is due next time, lesson 7. Okay. My phone, I lost the live feed on my phone, so I can't see questions. So what you can do is you can send me an email if you have any questions. Okay? All right. We're going to take a 20-minute break, and then we'll come back and we'll do social media marketing. So I will see you in 20 minutes. Okay.